My name's Dylan, I'm 17. And I just did something really stupid. See, my twin sister, Daisy, is basically a rising star. She sings like an angel, dances like a pro, and already has 300K followers from her covers online. Meanwhile, me? I deliver pizzas and avoid eye contact. But last month, she got invited to audition for Star Path Academy, this elite performing arts school where people get discovered. Except the day of her audition, she got into a car accident. She was okay, but she couldn't even stand up, let alone perform. She cried for hours. I couldn't take it, so I did something absolutely insane. I showed up in her place. Wig, makeup, her lucky necklace. I learned her routine from watching her rehearse a million times. And somehow I pulled it off. They loved her. I got the callback. And now, I'm in too deep. The callback was just the beginning. I can't believe I'm still doing this. Now, I'm living this weird double life. By day, I'm Dylan, the quiet kid with no real ambitions, delivering pizzas, trying not to get noticed. But by night, I'm Daisy, the pop star in the making, the talented, charismatic girl who's on the fast track to fame. I've been going to rehearsals, keeping up with her Instagram, and even performing her songs at night under the lights of a school stage. And I'm killing it. I think I might even be better than Daisy. I mean, she's amazing, don't get me wrong. But I've got the secret edge now. I know how to tap into a whole different side of me. But there's a problem. Daisy's friends are starting to notice. And now, I'm juggling two identities, trying to keep everything from falling apart. The more I fool everyone, the more it feels like I'm lying to myself. One slip up, and everything crumbles. I feel like I'm losing myself in this performance. It's getting harder to keep the two worlds separate. During the day, I'm just another pizza guy. But every night, Daisy's persona takes over. I've been killing her performances and posting everything on her account, with her fans loving every minute of it. I'm the perfect imposter. But here's the twist. I'm not the only one who's catching on. Daisy's best friend, Ellie, starts getting suspicious. She noticed that the real Daisy doesn't quite sound like the new Daisy. My voice isn't matching hers. The little quirks Daisy had are slipping through the cracks. Ellie's picking up on every detail, and she's getting more and more curious. I can feel the pressure mounting. The whole time, I kept thinking I could hide behind this perfect double life, but now it's starting to crumble at the edges. And Ellie, she's not the kind of person to keep secrets for long. If she figures out the truth, everything is over. Dylan will be exposed as a fake, and Daisy will be left without a career. I didn't think it would get this hard. Ellie's been asking a lot of questions lately. At first, I thought it was just her being curious, but today it felt different. She's catching on. I could see it in the way she looked at me. Not like she was admiring Daisy anymore, but like she was examining every little detail, trying to find the flaw, the one thing that would expose me. I'm trying to keep everything together. I try to be extra Daisy in every performance, going over the lines, over the moves, making sure nothing feels out of place. But Ellie's catching every slip-up. She noticed Daisy's usual laugh doesn't quite match my voice. The way I run my hand through my hair doesn't feel right to her. And I can't exactly change the way I walk. I walk like Dylan, not like Daisy. But today it went further. Ellie approached me after rehearsal. Her eyes were locked on me, her tone soft but firm. "I don't know who you are, but you're not Daisy," she said. My heart sank. For a second, I felt like I was on the verge of breaking down. I had this moment, this fleeting moment, where I thought I could just tell her everything. I thought about spilling the truth, coming clean about everything. But then I realized, if I did that, I'd lose everything. Daisy would be gone. My chance to live this new life would shatter. So I lied. "I don't know what you mean, Ellie," I said, forcing a smile. Her eyes weren't convinced. But I saw something else there, a flicker of doubt. Maybe she wasn't as sure as she thought she was. Maybe she was just overthinking it. But the seed was planted. The fear started to grow inside me. It wouldn't be long before Ellie connected the dots. And when she did, the whole thing would fall apart. It wasn't long after that conversation with Ellie that things started to unravel. I kept my distance, tried to be extra careful around her. But she wasn't letting it go. Every rehearsal, she would linger just a little longer eyeing me. And she wasn't the only one. The other members of the group started acting differently, too. Their smiles seemed a little too tight. Their questions, a little too pointed. And the worst part, I couldn't tell who knew and who didn't. It felt like the entire production was a house of cards, fragile, teetering, ready to collapse with just one wrong move. One day, Ellie cornered me in the hallway after rehearsal. Her eyes were cold now, sharper than before. "I know it's you, Dylan," she said quietly, her voice barely above a whisper. "You can stop pretending." My heart pounded in my chest, my thoughts spinning. I could feel my stomach drop to the floor. How much did she know? How much had she figured out? I took a deep breath, looking her in the eye. "Ellie, it's not what you think," I said, forcing my voice to stay steady. She raised an eyebrow. "Oh, really? Then explain why I can hear the real Daisy's voice in your laugh. Or why you suddenly look so different, like you're trying so hard to be someone else." I swallowed hard. She was right, wasn't she? Every lie I'd built up was crumbling in front of me, and I could feel the weight of it all pressing down on me. But I wasn't ready to give up. Not yet. Not like this. I tried to smile. "You're just imagining things." Ellie didn't buy it. "You're not Daisy, and you never were. Who are you, really?" Her voice was soft, but there was something like disappointment in it, and that cut deeper than any accusation. I felt my throat close. The truth was, I didn't even know who I was anymore. Was I Dylan, or was I Daisy? The silence stretched between us like an endless chasm. I wanted to run, wanted to escape, but Ellie wasn't going to let me off the hook. Finally, I let out a shaky breath and spoke, my voice quieter this time. "Ellie, I'm sorry," I whispered. "I didn't mean to hurt anyone. I just wanted a chance to be someone else. To be free. For once." Her expression softened, just a little, but the hurt was still there. "You don't have to pretend anymore, Dylan," she said. "Just be yourself. We don't need Daisy. We need you." And in that moment, I realized something. Ellie wasn't trying to expose me or tear me down. She was just trying to save me from myself. After that conversation with Ellie, I couldn't sleep for days. My mind kept racing, and every time I closed my eyes, all I could see was the way Ellie looked at me, her eyes full of disappointment. I didn't know what I expected. For everything to stay the same. For no one to find out that the Daisy everyone thought they knew was actually me, Dylan. The weight of my lies felt unbearable, but what could I do now? I'd built up this persona of Daisy so much that I didn't even recognize myself anymore. I was trapped in a story I'd written, and I didn't know how to rewrite it. The next rehearsal was the hardest. I walked in, and all eyes were on me. The tension in the room was palpable. Ellie didn't approach me, but I could feel her gaze every second. Everyone else seemed to be pretending nothing had changed, but I could tell they knew. The way they looked at me, the little pauses in conversation when I walked into a room, it was all so obvious. At the end of practice, I stayed behind. I had to do it. I had to tell them the truth. I stood in front of the group, my palms sweating. I could barely look anyone in the eye. "Listen," I started, my voice shaky. "I owe all of you an apology." They all stopped talking and turned toward me, waiting for me to continue. "I've been lying to you," I said, feeling the sting of every word. "My name's not Daisy. I'm Dylan. I never meant for any of this to go this far. I wanted a chance to be someone else." The room was dead silent. I could see Ellie's face soften slightly, but there was still tension in her features. I couldn't read the others. Would they hate me for what I'd done? Finally, one of the other cast members, Sarah, spoke up. "You've got to be kidding." She shook her head, looking almost amused. "So what? This whole time, you've been pretending to be this perfect, bubbly, flawless Daisy." I nodded, not trusting myself to say anything else. That's messed up," Sarah continued, but then she paused. "But why? Why would you do that?" I took a deep breath. "Because I thought being someone else would make people like me. I thought if I could be perfect, I'd finally fit in." There was a long pause. Then, Ellie stepped forward, her voice gentle. "You don't have to be perfect, Dylan. You just have to be you. That's all anyone ever wanted." And in that moment it hit me. I had spent so much time running away from myself, from the truth, that I didn't realize people would accept me for who I really was. Not as Daisy, not as some fictional version of myself, but as Dylan, the real me. The room was quiet, but not cold. People shifted uncomfortably in their spots, processing everything I had just said. My heart thudded in my ears, waiting for someone, anyone, to break the silence. And then Ellie stepped forward again. "You know," she said softly, "when I found out the truth, I was furious. I felt used, betrayed. I thought everything you said to me was fake." Her voice cracked slightly, but she didn't look away. "But then I remembered," she took a breath. "You were the only one who ever sat with me when no one else would. You were the only one who actually listened when I talked about my anxiety, my parents, my dreams. And none of that felt fake." Tears pricked the corners of my eyes. "I'm still hurt," she admitted, "and it's going to take time. But I think I get it now. You weren't trying to hurt anyone. You were trying to find yourself." There was a murmur of agreement from the others. Sarah crossed her arms but nodded slowly. "Okay, that was brave. Still weird, but brave." Then someone laughed, not out of mockery but release. It spread through the group like a warm ripple. The tension cracked just a little, and so did I. That was the beginning. Not everything was fixed, not yet. Some people stayed distant. Others were more open. But for the first time in months, I felt like Dylan. Just Dylan. And weirdly, that was enough. Ellie walked up to me when everyone started to leave. "You ever lie to me again, I will throw glitter in your shampoo," she said, smirking. I laughed. Deal. Weeks passed. Rehearsals picked back up, and the air shifted. It wasn't perfect, but it was healing. The play had become more than just a school project. It was the thing that had forced us to be vulnerable, honest, and real. And weirdly enough, I wasn't cast as the lead anymore. I stepped down. Voluntarily. Because there was someone who needed it more than me. Ellie. She lit up on stage in a way that no one else could. All that passion, all that pain she kept bottled up, it poured out into her performance like magic. She became the role, and watching her, I realized something. I had spent so long trying to hide who I was, I forgot what it meant to let someone else shine. I still played a part, of course, a smaller one. But this time, I wasn't performing to hide. I was performing because I loved it, and because I had friends who saw the real me now and stayed anyway. The night of the performance, the auditorium was packed. The lights dimmed, the curtain rose, and there she was, Ellie, center stage, absolutely breathtaking. I was off stage, waiting for my cue, and I looked around at the crew, the cast, the chaos and magic of it all, and I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Belonging. Not as a rich kid hiding in a costume. Not as a fraud, but as someone who chose to be here, who earned their place. The show was a hit. Standing ovation. Teachers cried. Students who barely spoke to each other were hugging in the aisles. It was the kind of ending people write about in teen movies. The underdogs win, the misfits become stars, and for a moment, the world feels right. After the curtains fell, and the applause finally faded, I found a small envelope waiting for me in the dressing room. No name. Just my real one, Dylan. I opened it. I knew who you were from the beginning. But I also saw who you were becoming. And that's what really mattered. Mr. Keller. My heart dropped. Mr. Keller, our drama teacher. The same guy who cast me, pushed me, and called me out when I needed it most. He knew. This whole time, he knew I wasn't just some random new kid. But he never said anything. He never treated me differently. And in doing so, he gave me the gift I was searching for the whole time. A chance to be seen for me. That letter changed everything. Not because it exposed me, but because it reminded me I didn't need to hide anymore. The next morning, I walked into school as Dylan. Not Dylan the scholarship kid. Not Dylan the fake. Just Dylan. I still wore my thrifted hoodie. I still carried my beat-up backpack. But now I walked with my head high. I wasn't running anymore. Some kids still whispered. A few gave me side eyes. Others avoided me entirely. But a surprising number just smiled. Jaya ran up to me in the hallway and said, "That was the bravest thing I've ever seen anyone do." I laughed. "What?" "Auditioning for a play." "No," she said. "Choosing to be you." Opening night arrived faster than I could have imagined. I stood backstage, my heart pounding like a drum. The crowd was buzzing. Lights were blinding. But for the first time, I wasn't terrified, I was ready. And not just because I knew my lines. I was finally stepping into the spotlight not to become someone else, but to show the world who I really was. The curtain rose, the stage lights hit, and when I stepped forward, the applause felt like a second chance. We nailed the show. Every line, every laugh, every tear. And when we took our bows, I saw my mom standing up in the back row, crying, smiling, clapping harder than anyone else. That moment, it made every lie, every sleepless night, every fear worth it. After the play, everything changed. People saw me differently, not as some weirdo who randomly joined drama club, but as Dylan, someone with guts, talent, and heart. Even Mr. Carson gave me a fist bump, which is, like, basically a standing ovation in coach language. But more than anything, things changed between me and my mom. We sat in the parking lot after the show, just the two of us in the car, quiet. Then she said, "I'm sorry I didn't get it before, but watching you up there tonight, I do now." I looked at her and smiled. "It's okay. You were in the audience. That's all I needed. Now, I'm still that same kid who used to hide behind excuses. But now I act for real, on stage, in life, and for myself." The world didn't end when I stopped pretending to be perfect. It started. And that's the story of how one awkward teen accidentally became the star of the school play and found his voice along the way. If you laughed, cried, or even cringed a little thinking about your own high school memories, don't leave me hanging like Dylan's stage harness during rehearsal. Hit like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend who also had their main character moment in high school. And hey, if your mom ever made you join a random club against your will, drop a comment. Dylan needs the support group. Until the next drama, Ruby's Secret Files out.